All right, today we're going to talk about getting the head and sinuses as well as the ears to drain. We have another video that talks about lung congestion and how to get kiddos and adults to cough that stuff up. But today we're going to focus on the head and neck. Now, oftentimes when you have nerve irritation or a misalignment in your spine, it can cause the muscles in the back, middle, and the anterior or the front part of your neck to become more tight. Those nerves also control the eustachian tube, or a muscle that's at the end of the eustachian tube that controls the flow of that fluid out of the ear. Now, oftentimes people have heard, or many times people have heard, that chiropractic, by adjusting the spine, can affect the inner ear. It's actually affecting the muscle at the end of that eustachian tube, allowing it to open and close properly to allow the proper drainage of fluid. Now, there's a medical diagnosis for that. It's called eustachian tube dysfunction, but in chiropractic, we call it a subluxation or a misalignment of the spine that controls that muscle and controls that tube. Also, what will happen at times is you'll get a backflow of lymphatic drainage into the sinuses. Mucus production will get stuck in the sinuses here and up here, but also those tight muscles impede the flow of that drainage down the lymphatic system and out of the head. Those lymphatic ducts, I call them like wet, hollow spaghetti noodles. They're very soft and supple. So if a muscle's contracting and it's pushing on those lymphatic ducts, it'll actually impede or close the flow of that fluid, and you'll get a backup of it into the ear sometimes and into the sinuses. Now, the points that I'm going to show you on this little guy here are acupuncture points. So with adults in our practice, we will actually stimulate these acupuncture points by pushing on them with our fingers, and they can be fairly uncomfortable. And obviously we don't want to do that with kiddos. So we're going to emulate or simulate some of the same results instead of direct, constant, or vibrating pressure that can be very uncomfortable, with more of a stroking type motion that'll help stimulate those points to open up the sinuses. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually start here in our area right above our cheekbone, as well as here and then on the sides of the neck. So when we do this, what we're going to be doing is starting right here along the side of the nose and doing these in sets of 10. So as I stroke here, it's just right across the cheekbones, right here across the cheekbones, 10 times. Also, then we're going to move up into this area, basically at the corner of the eyebrow, and you'll actually feel a little bit of a dent. That's where some of the muscles and nerves come out of your skull bone. And we're going to stroke all the way to the edge of the eyebrow 10 times. Now, we're just doing this gently, whatever the baby or the kiddo can tolerate. A good time to do this, by the way, is after nursing or feeding the baby, because at that time they're oftentimes calm, they're sleepy, they might even fall asleep, and they will oftentimes just sleep right through this. So 10 times across here, 10 times across here. The next 10 are going to be on both sides of the neck. So you're going to start basically where this little bump is, and this little bump really doesn't develop until a little bit later, a little bit as the kiddo's available to pick up their head. But right behind their ear, you're going to find this muscle that goes all the way down to their collarbone. That's called the sternocleidomastoid. And what you're going to do is you're going to stroke from the back of the skull down that muscle gently right to the collarbone. And you can do those one at a time, or if the baby will let you, you can do them 2 at a time. And then lastly, what you're going to do is just stroke right across the collarbone, starting right here, right in that little notch, and then all the way across the collarbone to the shoulders. So again, in review, we're going to stroke 10 times across the sinuses, 10 times across the eyebrows, 10 times on each side from the back of the ear all the way down to the side of the neck to the collarbone on both sides, and then from the middle of the breastbone all the way across the collarbone to the shoulders. I would do that 2 or 3 times a day. And again, the best time to do it is after feeding baby. If you have any questions, certainly comment below or give our office a call.